Afternoon.
Hi there, Ms. Gomez. Welcome, welcome. I can see Mr. Elizararas has joined us as well. Just a reminder, we are streaming live. Hi there, Isaac. Welcome, welcome, Senor. Oh, I like the avatar. Very cool.
Hey guys, happy Monday.
You too, man. You too.
How about that? Can you guys hear me? I'm using my headphones this afternoon.
You sound great.
Okay, cool. I'm outside on the quad area over here at Thiggy's from, so.
Cool, cool. How are you, Ms. Gomez? How's tricks? Are you at work right now? Welcome, welcome. I can see Mr.
Yes, I am.
Just give me
Hi,
1
Isaac.
second.
Hey. Hey, Angie. I think that was Angie, right? Yeah, that was Angie. Let me switch my headphones. Okay, to me it should be better.
We have a real short agenda today. So hopefully this shan't take long, but it might.
And this should be the last meeting, no?
Sure is. Hey, I loved your participation in the superintendent's parent round.
Good, I'm glad.
So good to hear it. You know, you said it elegantly, right? Without
you.
stepping on, upsetting anything, but you
Yeah,
said
no, I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. Just wanted to speak from the heart in our community.
I know I saw, going back on what Dr. A was saying, Angie, I saw it on social media. I think Jerry posted it.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, whoa, I was like excited, like, yeah.
You're like, that's our mom.
Yeah, let's go say cancel mom, yeah. But yeah, that was awesome, yeah.
So I have Dr. Cicada is she called this morning. She's having a family, like a pretty serious family emergency.
Oh, no.
She's not going to be able to join us, so she's marked me as her designee. And as long as we can get representatives from the teachers as well as hopefully Ms. Fabiola will join us as well.
I could send a text just as a reminder.
Thank you. Thank you. Shut this door.
I had a question, Isaac. I don't know if maybe you or Emil would know.
I'll try my best. If not, introductory.
So I signed up both of my kids for the summer program,
Okay.
which Engage, but there's also Neutral Ground doing programming for a little bit of the time. Are they able to leave the Engage program and go to Neutral Ground program and then back to the Engage program?
That seems maybe like a question for an admin.
For Engage, yeah, I was thinking of reaching out to Engage too, see si se puede or no.
Do you know what the times are for Engage 60? Is it like the whole
8 to 5, full time, because I still work full time and I don't have daycare.
And then I imagine that Neutral Ground would be during the school hours, right? Between 8 to 5.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the way I see it working, if it's gonna work, it's gonna be leaving the after school or Engage 360 to go to Neutral Ground and then going back to Engage 360.
Yeah, I think, like I said, well, let's wait for Dr. Ray. A ver qué dice. I don't think it should be an issue, but I reckon this is Dr. Ray, you know? It might just be bringing everybody up to speed, like the 360 coordinator and the admin, summer admin over, so, that way they know, that way for safety security reasons, they know where he's at. But I'm like, we'll ask him right now and we'll see what he advises,
Sounds good. Oh my God, it feels like a Monday.
Yeah.
So tired. Good thing for a long weekend this weekend.
Oh, definitely. You guys have any plans for the long weekend?
Yeah, we have a pool party Sunday. We're remodeling the outside of the house, so they're coming over Monday.
Busy schedule. Busy. Yeah, isn't it like the first official day of summer, or is it? No, wait, the summer solstice like June 21st. Oh, let's see.
No sé, I don't know.
Something like that, right? So we got more weeks. But I guess the kickoff to summer this weekend, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
exciting.
comforting when people are all vaccinated that we get together.
Yeah.
A little bit more
Can
comforting than before.
Can you hear me, guys?
We could hear you, Jaime.
Okay, thank God. Because now it's like I went to the laptop. It's like because I had it on my desktop and but I could hear you guys, but I couldn't hear you. Couldn't hear me. Now I went on the laptop. Now you can hear me, but now I can't turn on my camera.
Oh, pues we can't see your beautiful face. Aw. Well, I think we should
so
cancel the
sorry,
meeting. No, I'm
guys.
just kidding,
All right.
Jaime. No, I'm just kidding.
That actually happened to me, Jaime, like 3 weeks ago. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
on my new laptop, and I had gotten like 2 years ago. And I can. It's funny because I can hear the parents, but they couldn't hear me. Yeah, it was just weird the way it was working, you know.
Oh,
Long story short, I took it into the district IT, and they ran, I don't know, please, all kinds of updates, and it was fine after that, you know. But,
okay.
but yeah, so it's FYI, you know, that's the IT had to do my updates to mine.
Technology.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Technology at its best. When we need it to work, it doesn't work.
Or how they say technology at its finest.
There you go. Close enough. Yeah. But yeah, hey, Dr. A. So Angie had a question in regards to 360 and Neutral Ground this summer.
Yeah,
So
what's going on?
her son is, she would like for him to participate, if
Son and
possible,
daughter.
son and daughter to participate
In what?
both programs, Neutral Ground and 360. Would that be a possibility? Or
So I don't know if they could double dip, like go to, because they're going to be 8 to 5 at
As far
Engage.
as- have you worked out I don't know what the scheduling is for the various, but we have like 4 programs going on.
So I'm doing Engage 360, 8 to 5.
8
all
to
day.
5. Oh, and then you're saying in the middle of the day,
There's
You-
the neutral ground. Mhm.
I mean, you know, we can work it out. In fact, I'm the administrator in charge. So yeah.
There we go. Boom.
Yeah, see?
Hey, Ms. Nunez, welcome.
Hi,
Hello,
Paulina.
Ms. Corona. Welcome. Looks like we have at least a
Buenas
teacher.
tardes.
Buenas tardes, señora. We have a classified rep, we have teacher rep, we have parent reps, and I'm the admin rep. I'm hoping that a couple more folks will show up. It's one of those strange weeks for a lot of people at VIA. It's been a fantastic experience this year, but now the rubber's meeting the road, so everything's becoming operationalized. You know, as I was just sharing with Ms. Gomez, and I think most of us know, we have like 4 different running. We have an intervention program running. We have a summer play 360 program running simultaneously, and we're going to have a neutral ground program running, and we're going to have teachers on site providing enrichment on top of all of that to specific sets of students. So it's getting ready, and of course, then school starts middle of August too on top. So everybody's kind of administrators are right now in the throes of preparation and excitement. To be honest with you,
And you remind us the first day of school? What date was that?
I believe it's August 16th. Let me check it.
Yeah, I think it's August 16th.
August 16th.
August 16th. There we go. Wow, how about that? Wait, did I reveal something I wasn't supposed to reveal?
No, you're good.
The district made it public.
They've announced it. They made it public, but I just couldn't remember.
Yeah. It went out to the parent square and on social media last week.
So I was sharing Ms. Corona and Mr. Elizararas and Ms. Nunez that Dr. Cicada is having a pretty major family emergency, and so she won't be able to join us today. She's marked me as her designee today. And at this point, we have quorum, and as much as we have members of every stakeholder group, and as I think everybody knows, the student stakeholder group is not a requirement at the middle school level. It certainly is at the high school level, but they came to a couple of our meetings. You guys remember early on? They came to a few of them. They were quiet, sitting in the back. God bless their hearts. And Sabrina, one of those sharp kids, really tried to participate. She even sent me an email asking how she could participate. Very cool. So am I sharing the screen? No, not yet.
yet.
Please forgive me. I'm a little scatterbrained right now. First of all, to ask permission, Ms. Corona, are you okay to call the meeting to order and begin?
Fabi, ¿estás de acuerdo de llamar a la junta en orden para empezar?
Sí, está bien. Sí, podemos estar.
We're good.
So on behalf of Ms. Corona, I'm just calling everybody to order. Very fine. Good afternoon today. First on the agenda, as you can see, is the approval of our previous minutes. And at this point, Ms. Nunez, the council secretary, has been just awesome, amazing at being right on top of it. We usually publish the minutes the day of the meeting. So Just at this point, I would call for a motion and then a second to approve previous meeting. And if there are any discussion, we can certainly discuss that as well. Is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez. Is there a second to approve previous minutes?
I second that.
Thank you, Ms. Nunez. So if we could, let's take a vote. All of those in favor to approve the previous months, please raise your hand so we can visibly see. Gracias. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Corona. I appreciate it. It looks like she's been able to keep up with the translation thus far. Gracias. Thank you. Anything you feel like you need to clarify, Mr. Elizararas?
Yes, sorry. The camera's working. We're good.
Okay, so the next item is by Robert's Rules of Order. It's the third item on the agenda. It's the public input opportunity. At this point, we refer to Ms. Nunez. Ms. Nunez, has anybody submitted any requests to speak on behalf of the public to the council?
Not on my end.
Okay, having heard none at this point, I call for a motion to close public input. Actually, we don't need a motion. We can just go ahead and close public input and move forward at that point. The big item on the agenda, and again, as I mentioned, it was Dr. Ciceda's item, but I'm going to go ahead and change this to my item, which is the final approval of the single plan for student achievement just as a review. I don't know if I'm looking at the right camera. I apologize. I'll look between the cameras. Hopefully I don't look too crazy. But if you recall, we shared the single plan for student achievement contents, the 6 primary goals of the SPSA, and then we had some discussion around it. We were given an opportunity early in the year just to take a glance at it in preparation for knowing that we're going to be reviewing it as the year goes by. And at our previous meetings, we had a presentation. At our previous meeting, we had a short, brief presentation about the scope and the general goals of the single plan for student achievement. And then at that meeting, the council members requested some sort of an abbreviation, if you will, some sort of a summary. And Jaime, let me just finish and you can just kind of recap it. Is that okay, man? Thanks. A summary of exactly what the goals are so that they can provide direct input. That form was created, distributed, and we've collected input from anyone who was interested in submitting input. And at this point, we Dr. Ciceda, at least, and I are confident that the single plan for student achievement is ready to go for next year. It's including the priorities and the considerations that we've had in discussion during the school site council of this year as well. So having said all of that, I'm opening up the floor for any potential discussion before we move on to vote. Before we do have a discussion, is there more than one person who'd like to say anything about this single plan for student achievement? Oh, fantastic. So we don't even need a discussion at this point. Jaime, do you mind just basically going over that? Big picture stuff. Anyone else having trouble hearing him?
Yeah, Jaime, we can't hear you that well. Maybe volume? I don't know.
No, yo tampoco no lo escucho.
Very low, Jaime. Very low.
I don't know, Mrs. Sanchez, Ms. Nunez, or Ms. Gomez, do you mind?
No se oye, Jaime.
I hear you, but very faintly, so I can see where we might not all pick up.
And muffled, yeah.
So do you mind, Crystal, or someone just quickly telling Ms. Corona that basically we had a process. We opened it up. The council asked for a document that summarizes. We submitted that, got feedback, and now we're at a place where we need a final vote for approval.
Okay. So, mientras que Jaime ajusta su volumen, si puede, está bien si traduzco esa información. Estamos en la parte número 4, donde estamos para aprobación del plan que estamos repasando durante el año. También antes de concluir la junta anterior, tuvimos oportunidad de accesar ese documento otra vez. Y estamos en el momento si hay alguien que tenga algún comentario sobre eso. Y si no, podemos continuar para mover y aprobar y finalizar para entregar el plan para este año que viene. ¿Tiene alguien algún comentario sobre ese plan que hemos estado hablando? O un comentario sobre eso?
Y señora Fabiola, ese es el plan que creo que hasta nos juntamos y hablamos de él hace un tiempo.
Sí, es del, perdón, nomás para aclarar, es de lo que habían hecho los programas, de lo que había explicado la directora la vez pasada, ¿verdad?
So Mrs. Corona's clarification is just, this is the plan that we've discussed throughout the whole year where we outlined what programs we have, things like that, correct?
1000%. Most importantly, please note that by approving it, we're not saying this is exactly what will happen and nothing else will happen. This is simply a matter of telling the Board of Education that, yes, our parents, our students, our teachers, our classified staff have had input into the plan. The plan can be altered any day of the month, at any time of the day, year.
So, sí está correcta este es el plan que estamos refiriendo y nosotros aprobando para entregar este plan no significa de que no se puede ajustar durante el año escolar. Esto es nomás para dejarle a saber a los directors de la educación en el distrito que en nuestra escuela los diferentes participantes como los padres, los maestros, estudiantes y los demás administradores tuvieron un poco de tiempo para colaborar en el plan y podemos dejarle a saber formalmente el plan por ahorita, pero se puede ajustar si necesita en cualquier momento, ya que regresemos a la escuela, por ejemplo.
Sí, está bien.
Okay.
Jaime, are you back on yet or yet? Oh well. Yeah, it's all good. It's the face covering. It's the face covering. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, thank you, Ms. Nunez. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Gomez, and everybody for clarifying that. And again, just to be very clear, let's say, for example, the summer comes along or fall comes along, and something's going on that you feel like the single plan for student achievement, that's not what we talked about, and you'd like to change something like that. The teachers would simply petition the chairman of the council, in this case, Ms. Corona, who would then simply call me and say, schedule a meeting. Then you guys get together and literally talk about it and vote, and we take whatever changes we need to make. Honestly, it's a very open process. It just we have to submit to the federal government so that we can start getting monies for the next school year. That's all.
So, el ejemplo que da es si durante el verano algo pasa drástico que no refleja alguna porción del plan que pudimos hablar y colaborar en eso. Los maestros, por ejemplo, pueden llamarle a la señora Fabiola para que contacte al señor Hangarsere para tener una reunión y colaborar y ajustar lo que se necesita. Pero ahorita entregando y sometiendo el plan es para que la escuela pueda empezar a agarrar los fondos que va a estar reclamando en el plan para poder mover el proceso.
Thank you, Ms. Corona. And it seems like no one else has any comments they'd like to make or questions to be asked. I want to make sure there's open opportunity for that. Are you okay, Ms. Nunez?
Si alguien más tiene alguna pregunta o comentario antes de continuar.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve the SPSA for the incoming school year?
¿Hay alguien que para mocionar de aprobar el plan?
Yo la mociono.
Oh, thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Corona. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez has seconded the approval. If all in favor, please raise your hand. Aye, just raise your hand. Thank you so much, everybody. We have unanimous agreement that the SPSA is approved. Thank you. And then we're coming to the final moment of our last SPSA council meeting, which is a report from Ms. Gomez regarding DAC Elac. Ms. Gomez.
Ahora volvemos al punto final y la señorita Gómez va a empezar.
So, es la junta también, Fabiola, creo que fue a la junta usted también, ¿verdad? No fue mucho, but lo voy a decir en inglés porque unos que no estaban aquí. So I'm going to say it in English. Ms. Corona was present, so you don't need to translate for her, but the superintendent was there for a little bit and invited everybody to attend June 1st meeting regarding to school reopening. I believe it's at June 1st. I'm having second thoughts. But he's having an informational meeting. Yeah, it is June 1st. Just to let parents know what the reopening of school is going to look like and be there to answer questions from the community. Sheila, Representative Katie was there. And she talked about different programs for undocumented people, spoke about DACA and Dreamers and the right to go to a community college, even if the person's not documented. The LGBTQ plus center was there, talked about programs, resources as well. They had parents, sorry, this was separate. They had parents also give their feedback on a CABI meeting. I think that's what it said, or I don't know what kind of meeting it was. The
cabinet meeting. Okay.
Cabinet
Yeah.
meeting.
No, I think it was a meeting that some parents went. I don't know what it was called, and it was hard for me to understand because I was. ¿Sí es cabe? Oh, okay. Sorry, right. So I guess it was a meeting that they attended. So they were giving their feedback about this meeting. And from what I hear, it was really good. I think some of the parents wanted a variety of meetings, a variety of different topics that they could attend, but overall, most of them was positive feedback. Then they did a poll to see if us parents wanted to meet in person or Zoom. And they said they're going to decide that in the future. And then they gave out certificates to some of the DAC-DLAC parents.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then if I may interject, Angie, really quick, for the 2019-2020 school year, para el año 2019-2020, la señora Fabiola y otra mamá fueron los representantes para la escuela vía que fueron para esa de CABE, de California Bilingual Educator. So, I mean, no sé, yo sé que fue un poquito hace más de un año, Fabi, pero no sé si quieres hablar un poquito de cómo te sentiste, un poquito de qué es lo que, you know.
De hace un año cuando fuimos, bueno, yo creo que hace 2 años más que nada, ¿verdad? Porque el año pasado no sé.
El año pasado de COVID.
Me invitó Isaac. Es una de muchas organizaciones, vienen de lejos. Me gustó porque la facilidad que tiene ahí, se me olvidó decirles en la junta que también dimos nuestra experiencia, es de que ahí te pueden dar luego los audífonos para traducir. O sea, no hay ningún problema. Ayudan demasiado en todas las áreas, académicamente, a nivel de cómo se puede ayudar a los hijos, cosas que a veces uno dice, oh no, programas, cómo les pueden enseñar. Ahora esta vez estuvo más, es mejor porque en esta vez lo que están hablando parte de la pandemia, cómo les están enseñando, cómo los están apoyando, cómo hay grupos de padres que van a ver qué necesidades tienen los papás. Entonces, para niños, a mí fue un tema que me gustó mucho de niños de necesidades especiales, cómo se les puede ayudar, qué recursos hay, cómo puede uno trabajar con los maestros. Pues yo oigo, ¿verdad? Muchas cosas de que no hay apoyo, pero pues yo no entro en ese grupo y yo aprecio mucho, ¿verdad? Que pues que yo he tenido apoyo para mi hijo. Y gracias a esas clases empiezas a entender un poco más cómo se manejan las situaciones como para poder uno acercarse a la escuela. O sea, hay mucha información. Yo la verdad me quedé sorprendida en esta vez, no voy a decir que no me gustó, pero se me olvidó decir que más que nada no hay esos audífonos para la traducción. Y allá cuando vas y te formas en la línea, agarras todo tu equipo y te puedes ir a donde sea, a escuchar, hasta te puedes ir en ratitos. Y están tan emotivas, emocionantes, tanta la información que no te quieres salir de ahí, quieres terminar de escuchar toda la junta. Me gustó porque así como Isaac, hay muchas personas que te dicen cómo hacen el enlace para la familia, cómo te pueden ayudar, o sea, hay demasiada información. Me gustó mucho hace 2 años. Este año fue virtual, lo extrañé como la vez pasada, pero lo que pude entender que es la bendición de yo haber podido ir a esas juntas porque tienen un pago, un costo, y yo pude tomarlas. Eso es lo que yo les puedo compartir. Gracias.
Thank you, Fabi. Gracias, Fabi.
And I don't think Emil understood the question you asked. I don't know if somebody wants to translate for him.
I don't know if I can get all of that, but just real briefly, in a nutshell, Doctor, I know Dr. Fabiola, prior to COVID, 2019-2020 school year, she was one of our parent reps that attended the CABE. So I just asked her to just kind of just speak briefly about her experiences. So she just kind of just talked about the different programs, like how to support the families. She talked about that she really enjoyed the part where they provided headsets for people who needed interpretation, and that was like, it was just easy to like understand what the whole what Gabe was about, and all that, you know, and just like different programs that she looked in, that she heard from, to kind of people to provide that to our school for support.
That's tremendous. Can I jump in for a second here? This is really good here. So thank you, Ms. Corona. I'm a big, are we talking about CABE here, California Bilingual Education Association? Is that okay? So yeah, I've been a member of CABE and NABE for 2 decades now, and I'm 100% in support of this. And if Ms. Corona is so inclined, I am willing to bet that Dr. Cicada would be more than willing to perhaps ask you, and maybe either Ms. Rios or Ms. Gomez, or really anybody who knows about the CABE, to come and discuss what it is. But much more to the point, what I heard and what Ms. Corona was saying is she particularly appreciated the way the communication was done, right? The translation system. Am I hearing that perhaps the school council would be interested in purchasing something of that nature for VIA? Or did I misunderstand?
I think it will be nice if we can send 1 or 2 parents representing VIA to the next annual conference. I think that would be awesome. Ms. Fabiola and I think, are covered by the district because we're part of the
Elac, yes.
Yes, but that gives another 2 parents, or another opportunity to other 2 parents. So
I love it. I will certainly propose it. I'm sure it's more than appropriate. I think it's fantastic. You know, especially since, well, for a number of reasons, but CABE is probably going to be the most important organization in the state in the near future, if not already. And so to try to get some of that ethos into our school community and more in our school district, I am 1,000% for it. So I do want to just take a moment and thank you for Ms. Rios for joining us. I just, we had a very short agenda today. So, but before we adjourn, we wanted to see if you had any comments or if any of the parents wanted to comment about anything. I can report to you that we have a pretty exciting news. I think at least I find it exciting, is that we're almost going to double our special education program next year, which is really going to, I think, have a major effect on how it is, you know, the culture and the flavor of the school. I mean, of course, we're a fundamental school through and through. We're going to be adhering to the same principles of the other fundamental schools do, but I think it's fantastic. And I know Ms. Nunez, who's our department chair for special education, has her work cut out for her. It's going to be a wonderful program. As a matter of fact, we're looking for where to put them at this point. That on top of the social worker, we're having a full-time social worker staying with us, 4 new counselors coming on. It's going to be probably the most exciting year at VIA in the past 15 years or so. So I'm hoping that this council will be obliged or so inclined to continue serving next year. Of course, the terms are 2 years, but if anybody wants to change or needs to advocate or something like that, of course, nobody's going to say anything about it. But if I'm hoping that everybody will stay with us. I do want to just say one last thing, and then I'll see if there's any final comments from anybody before we adjourn. Is that there does seem to be some sort of I'm not going to call it mix up because technically we're doing it exactly the way we're being told, but the makeup of our school site council, I think needs to be, I just need somebody to take a look at it again. As I recall, if you recall, when we formed this year's school site council, we adhered to the directives that have been given to us from the district office that actually came from the federal government, and which includes having an equal amount of folks from the various stakeholder groups. But after we went through our federal program monitoring experience, which was basically an audit to make sure that we're doing the things that we're saying we're doing, it was brought to our attention that we need more teachers on the school site council, which again, it's not that it's contradictory, but it does seem to make it seem like it's just 2 groups now, as opposed to 4 groups as it's been set up. Now, I'm the school administrator and I work for Dr. Cicada, so I keep my little head down and make sure that everything that the law says we need to do is exactly what we're doing. But this, I'm sure you can understand there's something just not quite settling for me. So I'm going to look into that. And I will report back to each of you outside of the confines of the meeting, just so you understand. It's not going to affect the parents. It's not going to affect the students. It just might affect the classified and certificated composition. So I'll get back to you. I don't know if anybody can kindly translate that for Ms. Corona. Not big, just.
Okay, I guess I will.
Okay.
I'm going to reiterate or attempt to reiterate. And ladies, parents, if I miss anything, feel free. Because
sorry, guys.
It's a Monday and meeting after meeting, my brain's a little mushy right now. Lo que el doctor Ajancárcere estaba comentando era de que él va a visitar los detalles específicos para tratar de clarificar cuántos miembros de cada categoría es necesario para el equipo de School Site Council. Anteriormente, cuando empezamos el año, teníamos esa junta con unos directores del estado para dar un poco de información sobre quién está participando y quién está haciendo quién. Ahorita la confusión posiblemente es cuántos maestros se necesitan comparado a los demás categorías. So, él dijo que va a clarificar ese número y dejarnos a saber afuera de esta junta por si alguien necesita una clarificación en cuántos miembros se necesita para cada categoría. Y ojalá también estaba comentando de que, that's okay, Jaime, que si alguien necesita vocalizar o dejar saber que a lo mejor no está interesado en continuar, que por favor se lo comuniquen, pero que ojalá que todos puedan regresar para un segundo turno y continuar con School Site Council. Did I miss anything, ladies? Okay.
Not that I heard, no.
Thank you, Beauty. Thank you. And then just finally, we will have a position because our current vice chairperson will be matriculating onto Century High School, I understand. So we'll need to select the vice chair. If you recall, the vice chair was one of our students this year. So maybe we can get another student to take it over. Are there any comments or anybody want to just have any open comments at this point before we adjourn? Is there anybody has any need or anything?
Emil, can you repeat what you just said? Who stepped down and is going to Century?
Yeah, it's I believe he's going to Century. He might be going to another high school, but our Jesse, I want to say his boy's name is Jesse. I don't want to yell out his last name, but he's on our council technically, and he was one of our students.
Oh, that's student rep.
You see what I'm saying? And so he might be leaving, in which case we need to bring in a vice chairperson because we elected him as the vice chairperson. Does that make sense?
So
Yes,
una de las posiciones que vamos a necesitar de llenar este año que viene es la posición de Vice Chair President, que era de uno de los estudiantes que estaba en esa posición este año, que se va a matricular a la high school. So, vamos a tener que, ojalá, agarrar y que una estudiante participe de este año que viene. So es una de las áreas, and I did recall that I missed out on the info of our special ed doubling, so I'll just translate that really quickly.
That's a good
Sí. So, sí, dígame.
Una de estaba ahorita diciendo usted de que va a mirar los detalles específicos de las participantes, que cada cuántos serían y todo eso. En esto también se puede mirar si se pueden juntar DAC y DILA en las juntas, que nos juntemos los padres. Y también otra de la pregunta sería, ¿podrían participar más padres aquí escuchando con nosotros? Aunque yo sé que no pueden votar, pero ¿podrían participar más padres? Que, por ejemplo, yo les mande el enlace para clarificar.
Deje preguntar. So, Mrs. Corona's first question is regarding the revisiting of the different positions and the balance between participants. Her question is there an opportunity to combine the DAC and DLAC representative to be part of this meeting? If I'm translating that correctly, Ms. Gomez and Ms. Rios. And the other question is there a way to increase the parent participation in this? She understands that they wouldn't have per se a vote in things, but just as far as like participating and maybe watching. I know we have it on YouTube Live. So those were her two questions.
Okay, so thank you. Excellent question. So, as you recall, for this academic school year, we did elect an Elac, as you all know, it's the English Learner Advisory Committee. It's not a governing body, but it's an advisory committee. And there are certain requirements that the Elac needs to participate in, which means giving input on something called the R30. There's a series of things that they have to go through. We elected that. We elected the president and a secretary. And then what occurred is there was a conversation in my presentation about what the responsibilities of Elac are. The portion of the presentation discussed the ability to be able to collapse the Elac into the work of the SSC. And the way we would do that is a request would be made to school side council. School council would then vote to accept those responsibilities, and they would then take the responsibilities, which again include listening to a presentation on attendance. It's that kind of stuff. And again, any input regarding the needs of English learners specifically would also then come from the school side council. So what we've been advised, worked beautifully in my opinion. I think it worked great, but sadly, what it's done, because the laws have changed so drastically over the course of the last year, it's just no longer really beneficial for anybody, the students, the parents, or the school, to collapse those two. So next year we will have an Elac committee, and it will be separate from the school side council. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that parents can't attend school side council meetings. Right, all parents can attend. All stakeholders technically may attend. It's just at the school side council level, that's all they're doing is viewing. There's no input unless they've asked for time to provide input to the council. So it's just like the board meetings, except with much less authority, but similar to that kind of a setup. So we can certainly have parents from the Elac come and participate in the SSC sessions, and if they're so inclined, they can speak during public comment, right? In fact, it can even be we can even set up an agenda item so that there's a continuous presentation from the Elac advisory group as well. Let me stop. I've talked way too much. You think you can cover some of that?
I will attempt, and ladies, feel free to jump in and let me know what I missed. Okay, so en el aspecto de sus preguntas, señora Corona, a los años anteriores, como este año fue un poco diferente, lo que puede informar sobre su pregunta de combinar la información de DIDAC y ELAC es este año que viene escolar, sí va a haber una que es específicamente de ELAC, que pueden participar en School Site Council. Por ejemplo, en la agenda podemos agregar esa sección si los miembros de ese grupo tienen algo que contribuir a la junta o comentario, pero sabe cómo se pregunta si hay algún comentario del público, y como estamos ahorita en YouTube Live, pueden ellos tomar ese tiempo allí para agregar sus información o comentarios si es necesario, y se los dejan a saber para agregarlo en la agenda del día. En el aspecto de participación de los padres, todos los padres pueden participar en mirando la junta, y si tienen algún comentario, pues se los dejará saber a usted o a la secretaria en este año que soy yo, para poder agregar sus comentarios y abrir la puerta, digamos, o el escenario para que ellos participen en voz alta durante la junta, pero sería through YouTube Live.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And I can certainly tell you, ladies, just word of to the wise. You know, I worked as a senior coordinator of English learner programs for Fresno, for San Diego, and I'm an advocate. That's why I know CABE so well, of English learner stuff and special education. Those are my passions. And what I'm hearing from the parents here is we just want to get more parents to be able to come to the table. And my feedback, if I may, is that ELAC is your mechanism. I mean, you could invite hundreds and hundreds of parents, and we can put on live events, because those are advisory committees, and they're actually developed so that the parents can come and tell the elected ELAC members exactly what they want for the kids and for the school system. So if we want to expand on-site real-time participation with the parents when it comes to this kind of stuff, the ELAC is the best way to go. And then, of course, a direct connection to the school site council's public commentary line is going to be the way to go. And as far as I know, next year, my hope is we're going to do everything on site, right? But I have a feeling that we're going to do hybrid stuff for some of these meetings, like parents who can't drive in who still want to participate. But I hope that that doesn't push away doing everything on site too, because without that energy, well, you know what I'm talking about. You guys go to those DLAC meetings. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry. Did any of that make sense at all?
Yes, let me just translate that bit of info to Ms. Fabiola. Lo que está escuchando al señor Dr. Hungarsity es si la necesidad y el deseo de involucrar más participación de los padres en el aspecto de lo que hace Elac se puede hacer tras medio de ese grupo donde podemos invitar varias familias y padres para que puedan participar y dar a voz sus pensamientos o sus comentarios sobre esos temas y también tener una directa conexión a este grupo de School Site Council. Dice que este año que viene, ojalá que vayan a hacer las juntas en persona, pero dice que tiene un presentimiento de que va a ser una combinación de virtual y en persona para que puedan accesar esos padres que no pueden ir a la escuela, pero todavía se pueden conectar virtualmente. Esperamos un poco más sobre eso.
When I was doing this for Los Angeles Unified School District, the trick was to basically provide some childcare in another space and have some folks available on site to take care of the kids while the parents all meet in a multi-purpose room. In our case, it would be the gym or it'd be the library. And they engage in a conversation. They do all that stuff there. And we work with the PTSA to turn it into a pizza night. Right, so now family comes in. It becomes a much bigger deal than just showing up, sitting there, saying yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. So we can really make those ELAC experiences quite exciting. It takes effort on the part of the ELAC, and it takes effort on the part of the parents to actually show up to those meetings. So with that, if you have any other final comments from Ms. Rios or Ms. Gomez.
Yes, I just wanted to thank Ms. Fabiola. I think she's doing great with all the comments and all the questions. But just wanted to remind about the meeting that we want to have with the principal, the vice principal, so we can organize all of this. And I think the three of us are continuing next year. So that's a good thing. And so we can follow up how we can work with you guys and engage more parents and work as a team. So next year, even if it's in person or virtual or both, we want to do our best for our children's education. So thank you so much for all the work that you have been doing. I know it wasn't easy, but we're still here. So the best is yet to come.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Rios. Just really quickly, Mr. Elizararas, well, since you're here, is there any, because you're you support Dr. Cicada directly, do you think you could just take some time and arrange that meeting? Since we've got the ladies here, you know what I mean? Because I appreciated Ms. Rios. I remember you asking for this at the last meeting, but then we just never scheduled anything. And so my hope is that we can jump on it this time. And Mr. Elizararas is the right man to get that done. Can you follow that up, man? Gracias, man. It would be nice to do it this year too, so that we can get ready for next year. I'm sorry, Ms. Rios.
And let me just translate for Ms. Señora Fabi, nada más quería comentar, primero que nada agradecerle por sus comentarios. Creo que todos están al punto. So, gracias por ser la voz de otros papás. Y también le comentaba al subdirector acerca de la junta que teníamos pendiente. So, ahorita el joven Jaime creo que va a tratar de coordinar con nosotros para ver que esa junta se lleve a cabo, porque creo que nuestro interés principal es realmente apoyar para crear ese enlace con otros padres y realmente podamos trabajar en equipo, porque sé que viene un año escolar nuevo y eso nos da una nueva oportunidad, ya sea que las reuniones sean en persona, virtuales, entonces, pero como nosotros tres continuamos en este comité, eso nos ayuda a prepararnos antes del año escolar para poder trabajar realmente por lo que importa, que es la educación de nuestros hijos. So, nada más quería agradecerles por lo que han hecho en todo este año. Sé que no ha sido fácil, pero aquí estamos y lo mejor está por venir. So, gracias.
Any other comments from anyone before we adjourn? Thank you so much. Is there a motion to adjourn? Ms. Fabiola makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll
Thank you, Ms.
second.
Nunez. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it, Ms. Gomez. I appreciate your time, ladies. And let's stay in touch. Mr. Elizararas will reach out to the parents. And again, thank you for your